Creek the Freak. Now, Broody, the obvious question is, last time we went to the races, 9th at Banks Peninsula. That's probably the worst he's ever gone in the history, isn't it?
Correct, yes, and it was a soft track that day, and it was over 2 miles, Sheldon, and he has gone those sort of races in America 2 or 3 times and then bounced back. So if you put it all together with the soft track, the distance, and the fact that he raced into a howling wind, he was disappointing, but we're hoping he'll show us a bit more today.
Is there a little bit of the old D-Day feeling then today? What if he doesn't sort of hit the line? What are you thinking?
There's a lot of double D-Day actually in the camp today, because if he doesn't perform, he doesn't hit the line, and he's going backwards instead of forwards, well then we have to have some serious thinks about whether he even runs next week.
Well, Creek the Freak is certainly on the probables list of place getters in today's Open Trotting Free-for-All, the New Zealand Trotting Free-for-All. The Group 1 event of $50,000 over the mobile 2,600 metres, heading the win chances, Allegro Agitato, the mare we saw win the Trotters Mile at Ashburton earlier in the GHR season. The camp of Australian champion Something About Maori are needing to justify the trip across the Tasman this month with some sort of performance this afternoon. You must be thinking at this stage that she's down on her best game?
She definitely feels that way. I mean, back home, yeah, she's, as you say, I mean, she's the benchmark horse there, and I mean, okay, you can probably forgive her the one bad run at Ashburton, but the other day here, it was another below par performance for her. Whether it was the jostling in that early that took place that put her off the game a bit, I'm not sure, but well, we hope for a good showing, because I mean, if she doesn't show something like her best today, we're wasting our time hanging around for the Dominion next week.
Those capable of upsetting include 2 brilliant but erratic trotters, Golden Gold, the expat Kiwi capable of breaking records in Australia where he lives now, and Aramid, who gave Castleton's Mission, one of the favourites in today's free-for-all, a good thrashing on this track last month. He's been galloping since though. The mobile start suits them more than any.
This is his chance. He gets here today. It's a mobile, and I would expect him to finish up in the top 3 certainly.
Okay, based on his best mile rates and times and form in Australia, he should lead them a merry chase. Is that your theory?
Yeah, I think the horse can go to the front today. I honestly do, and it's going to be a question of him seeing out the trip.
Well, conditions here at Addington Raceway today not quite as conducive to record breaking as they were on the Cup Day Tuesday. It's a wee bit breezy, a bit cooler with the northeasterly as opposed to the nor'wester. The Trotters targeting 3:14.4, the New Zealand record for 2,600 metres mobile, actually held by one of the outsiders in today's race. Major decision. Okay, let's cut to it, Broody. First, can Lyell win today?
He'd need all the favours, Sheldon, from out there, because Anthony's going to go back and drive him with a cart into the race, so he would need all the favours. If the 2 logical choices in the race got bad luck, we got carted right into it on the turn, he could win the event, but unlikely.
Okay, let's spread it a wee bit wider then. Something About Maori, if she runs up to her best, does she just win today, or is perhaps Something About Maori's best just not good enough in New Zealand?
The latter statement. I don't think she's good enough. I don't think she's in form. I don't think she can figure today. I think Allegro Agitato can, and I also think Castleton's Mission can. But I don't think Something About Maori's form in New Zealand is good enough to win today.
Okay, so let's nail it down to the probables and possibles in your mind. No room for an upset today, you think?
Yes, Lyell Creek at 13-1 would be an upset, and a very pleasurable one at that.
Okay, I'm picking a big sit and sprint finish from Castleton's Mission today, which may take him close in the New Zealand Trotting Free-for-All. Let's see what happens with commentator Rion Murtha as they brush up behind the mobile gate.
Allegro Agitato is the favourite, has drawn barrier 1. Tony Hurley is aboard. Last link goes from 2, major decision. Meniscus in 4, they come round to the start. They're almost at it. They're racing, and Allegro Agitato began okay near the inside. Last link trying to go out with it. Further out then Meniscus galloping as Something About Maori, and Golden Gold got past it. They were followed by Major Decision. Sundance Luck, Castleton's Mission shoots up on the inner, and further back to Aramid, Play On, and Lyell Creek, and a gap back to Adu's Invasion. Now as they settle down out of the straight, leader is the favourite Allegro Agitato from last link. Meniscus and Golden Gold is 4 wide. In behind them, Castleton's Mission got a beautiful draft through. Right on the back of the leader, couldn't be in a better spot. followed by Major Decision, Sundon's Luck and Aramid and Play On. About 2 to Lyell Creek, 3 to Something About Maori, and 3 further back at Do's Invasion on their way inside the 2,000 metres. And the leader by half a length, Allegro Agitato. Golden Gold has got to be outside it now. Castle Inspection hard up behind the favourite and leader, followed by Meniscus. Sundon's Luck gets through along the markers. Last Link settles back 3 the outside of Play On. Major Decision takes off round the out of a Ken Barron. About 3 to Aramid, 2 to Lyell Creek, 2 further back Something About Maori, and still at the back Sadu's Invasion. They head round the far turn. There's a great battle for the front and Major Decision. Ken Barron's going to have a lick at the leader, Allegro Agitato. Tony Hurley, he says, I'm not going to let you cross me though. And Golden Gold settles back, is followed by Castle Decision, getting a beautiful run. Castle Inspection on the inner, and is followed about a length away by Golden Gold and Sundon's Luck. Then came Meniscus. Deep in the inside of runners down through the straight was Play On. Last Link next to that, and they were followed by Aramid, Lyell Creek, Something About Maori and Adu's Invasion. A quick 1:14.1 the lead at the winning post with a lap to go, and Allegro Agitato is the leader. It's out by the best part of a neck to a half a length over Major Decision. Up on the outside of those now is Something About Maori getting a bit closer, and Golden Gold is going forward rather, and Aramid is next. They were followed deep on the inside of runners. Sundon's Luck, Play On was next, then Last Link. Lyell Creek wants to get a bit handier. He's still about 8 lengths from the leader. Actually, Something About Maori's following that, and Adu's Invasion goes up in the inner. They race past the 800 metres. First quarter was 30.7. The second should tick over any second. And as they travel down the back, it's 30 seconds. So the leader is still Allegro Agitato. Half a length over Major Decision. Castle Inspection getting an absolutely gem of a trail. Is followed at the 600 metres by Golden Gold. And then Aramid next in the inside of runners. Sundon's Luck, followed by Meniscus. And Lyell Creek starting to make his move wide. And so is Something About Maori wider. Last Link just on their inner, followed by Play On and Adu's Invasion. Coming up to the home turn, 250 metres to go. Allegro Agitato, Major Decision. Castle Inspecion's going to scoot along the passing lane, and they were followed further out. Lyell Creek coming right into it. Something About Maori wider in the track. Big Lyell Creek has got to the lead. He's at his brilliant best, and Lyell Creek goes to the front, 100 to go. Something About Maori, the Australians coming at him, but Lyell Creek, he's won it and won it brilliantly, and cheer him on. He's the world's best. Lyell Creek, Something About Maori, Allegro Agitato, Sundon's Luck, Castle Inspection, followed by Last Link, Play On, Major Decision. Then came Meniscus, followed home by Aramid probably next, ahead of Adu's Invasion and Golden Gold.
Well, there are just very few ways to describe this. I guess you just never doubt a world champion. The 11-year-old Lyell Creek, the freak, New Zealand's greatest ever trotter, has just swatted away the current Dominion Australasian champion, Something About Maori, with disdain. Now, I'm not even going to bother with what happened out there, because a very excited owner, Graham Bruton, is well capable of the blow-by-blow.
I loved it when Kenny Barron swooped round and attacked the leaders and put the speed on. As soon as the speed was into the race, I gave Lyell a hope. I said at the 700 metres he runs third at worst. Turning to home, I said, no, he's going to win the event. And he just came home over there. Like, he actually slaughtered them, didn't he, in New Zealand record time. And that's Lyell Creek. We can't write him off. Who's to say he won't be here next year? He loves his racing.
Before we catch up with the winner's circle, Lyell the Freak is back, and he's just rolled another New Zealand record here too, 3:14.3. That's a 10th inside the old one. The Australians thankfully will be back next week for the Dominion, with Something About Maori going much more like it today. They must be in awe of the Freak though. And third place, the favourite, Allegro Agitato, trying to lead all the way. She set up the pace, gained third. You never doubt a world champion, do you?
No, he's a great horse. I've never saluted in my life when I've crossed the line, but I had such a buzz because a lot of people wrote him off, but he's a champion and he can do what no other horse can do.
A tick under the New Zealand record.
Yeah, well, they run the race to suit him, and I needed that, to win the race, but, he gave him up pretty easy, run the bend, and up the straight was great.
Just watching around the corner, we sort of thought, he's right there, and I suppose a few doubts were coming in just because of his recent form. Did you really feel like you were going to win? How far out?
Oh, yeah, I was really confident. I didn't really want to go down the back, but Gavin sort of went out behind me, and I thought I can't risk not, getting blocked in. So, but he won. He's a great horse, and he probably will never see one like this again, will we?
And it's just one last thing. I mean, you've had some magic moments. Just even though it's small by comparison with some of the ones he's pulled off, it must be one of the best ones for you, is it?
Oh, it's most satisfying. We had a bit of criticism after Muscara. A few people wanting him retired, but we know what we're doing, and this is more for Tim and I really, because we didn't want to see the horse going around and getting no money and losing what he'd already done. So it's great to come back and do it.
Don't see many faces other than maybe the Butts or Graham Bruton when it comes to Lyell Creek. But what are you, the manager of the Creek Syndicate?
Well, I'm the guy that actually just syndicated the horse, and it doesn't need managing.
Yeah.
We've got a group of 60 enthusiastic supporters of the horse that have been there for the last few years and are just absolutely thrilled to be involved in the horse, and they still are. And when we decided to bring this horse back to New Zealand, what a great thrill they're now getting back here with the way it ran in the Rowe Cup and now today.
Yeah, Graham Bruton, quite emotional when it comes to Lyell Creek. So's Tim and Anthony. Do you guys ride the crest of the wave with those boys in the up and down the roller coaster?
Undoubtedly. I mean, when it comes to emotion, I mean, if you'd seen me, where I stand in the stand, Sheldon, I just about tripped over 100 people as I fell out of the stand when Lyell came down the straight today. It was a sensational performance by the greatest trotter New Zealand's ever seen, and we all just get right behind it. I mean, everybody's involved, and even though they've only got a small piece of the action.
Today was D-Day, Sheldon. And obviously this horse doesn't know he's 11 for one. He knows he's the king, and he's asking the pretenders to the crown to dethrone him. And at this stage they can't, and I'm rapt about it.
But Lyell Creek, he's won it and won it brilliantly, and cheer him on. He's the world's best.